Hello everyone. Today's weather report. The Atlantic Ocean has once again turned active as a new tropical storm, Lorenzo, has just formed, marking the return of tropical cyclone activity in the final stretch of the 2025 hurricane season. Meanwhile, in the southern portion of the tropical belt, a low-latitude atmospheric wave is moving very slowly and has begun drawing significant attention from forecast models. This system may become a new focal point of concern in the coming week. At the same time, across the continental United States, a major atmospheric transition is underway. Cold air masses are pushing southward from Canada, interacting with warm, humid air from the Gulf of Mexico. This clash will set off a series of dynamic weather systems capable of producing severe thunderstorms and hazardous conditions heading into the weekend. All of these signs indicate that autumn is entering a decisive turning point, and the U.S. may soon see the return of extreme weather after several relatively calm weeks. Tropical Storm Lorenzo, classic late-season system. Satellite imagery clearly shows Lorenzo's circulation spinning over the central Atlantic, thousands of kilometers away from land. According to the U.S. National Hurricane Center, NHC, Lorenzo is the 12th named storm of the season, with sustained winds near 45 miles per hour, 72 kilometers per hour. The storm is moving northwest, expected to turn gradually northward and dissipate over cooler waters. Current projections indicate that Lorenzo poses no direct threat to land, though it may generate 3 to 4 meter, 10 to 13 feet, swells across the northeastern Caribbean along with gusty winds, up to gale force, and scattered rain showers across the small islands. Structurally, Lorenzo is well organized and may strengthen slightly in the short term, but its overall trajectory leads toward colder waters and eventual dissipation, a typical signature of late-season storms. These systems often form far from land, serve to redistribute energy between the atmosphere and ocean, and effectively help bring the hurricane season to a gradual close. The next potential storm, a low-latitude tropical wave. However, the Atlantic's story doesn't end there. Just south of Lorenzo, near the equatorial belt, a low-latitude tropical wave is quietly trekking westward, and this is where the models start to get interesting. The ECMWF, European model, predicts that the wave will remain weak for the next 5 days, then gradually organize near the eastern Caribbean, where sea surface temperatures remain warm and wind shear decreases, allowing for possible cyclonic development between October 20th and 22. The American GFS model, on the other hand, is more aggressive, depicting a faster developing tropical storm that could move westward at very low latitudes, later curving toward Jamaica or Cuba within the next 10 days. The German ICON and Canadian CMC models also indicate development, though they differ in track and intensity. All major models agree that this low-latitude energy pocket will persist, moving along the southern belt of the Atlantic, near the northern coast of South America. Systems like this are typically slow to form due to upper-level wind shear and lingering Saharan dust. But once they reach the central or western Caribbean, the combination of warm water and a moist, stable environment can fuel rapid intensification. Meteorologists are already referring to this feature as a potential Melissa candidate, the next name on the 2025 Atlantic hurricane list, if the NHC begins formal monitoring in the coming days. Within 24 to 48 hours, we may see a yellow 20 to 30% circle appear on the NHC's 7-day outlook, indicating a modest but noteworthy formation potential. It's significant precisely because it occurs late in the season, when many forecasters usually expect the Atlantic to quiet down. Model consensus and climate backdrop. Digging deeper into the model data, interesting parallels emerge. The ECMWF, typically conservative, shows a weak, slow-developing system, whereas the GFS suggests a stronger tropical cyclone if favorable conditions persist. Forecasters caution, however, that the GFS tends to over-amplify long-range signals, especially beyond the 240 to 300-hour window. Still, The ICON and CMC runs show enough alignment to suggest that the Eastern Caribbean may become the next focal area for tropical activity by late October. The Madden-Julian Oscillation, MJO, is also shifting into a favorable, rising phase across the western Atlantic, increasing mid-level humidity and reducing wind shear, both essential ingredients for storm development. In short, if a tropical storm emerges in the Caribbean within the next 10 days, it would not be surprising at all. Back to the U.S., a volatile weather pattern emerges. Moving away from the tropics, the U.S. mainland is gearing up for a major pattern change. After several weeks of stability, a large trough is digging in from the west, while strong ridging and warmth remain over the central and eastern U.S. The collision between these two features will produce a highly energetic setup with potential for severe storms, heavy rainfall, and early-season snow in parts of the West. According to the Climate Prediction Center, CPC, the 6 to 10-day outlook shows above normal temperatures, 3 to 5 degrees Celsius above average, across much of the Midwest and Northeast. While the Northwest cools below normal, this temperature contrast will fuel storm formation. The precipitation outlook highlights widespread rain from the Central Plains through the Great Lakes, with early mountain snow out west. The Storm Prediction Center, SPC, has already issued an early 15% risk zone for Saturday, stretching from Missouri and Arkansas through Tennessee and northern Texas. Cities such as Springfield, Little Rock, Memphis, Evansville, and even Dallas could see strong thunderstorms, damaging winds, and hail. This corridor lies at the intersection of warm, moist Gulf air and cool, descending northern air, a setup that promotes deep convective storms. Meteorologists often call this the secondary severe weather season, a fall resurgence of storms when the atmosphere begins to shift dramatically. How it happens: dynamic setup for severe weather. Here's the breakdown. As the western trough advances eastward, strong southwesterly mid-level winds, 60 to 70 knots, sweep in at around 5 to 6 kilometers altitude. Meanwhile, southerly surface winds from the Gulf transport humid air northward, raising dew points to 18 to 20 degrees Celsius across Arkansas, Missouri, and Oklahoma by Saturday evening. This clash of air masses generates intense vertical wind shear and instability, CAPE, the perfect recipe for supercell thunderstorms capable of large hail, damaging winds, and isolated tornadoes. Forecasters are urging residents across the central U.S. to stay alert through the weekend, as the setup could produce multiple rounds of storms. Regional outlook across the U.S. Northeast, cloudy with scattered showers across Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Long Island. Daytime highs between 57 to 64 degrees Fahrenheit, 14 to 18 degrees Celsius. Nighttime lows near 46 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit, 8 to 10 degrees Celsius, true autumn conditions. Southeast Florida, persistent afternoon and evening thunderstorms, some heavy with 2 to 3 inches, 50 to 80 millimeters, of rain daily, risking urban flooding. Central states, Kansas, Missouri, Illinois, scattered showers over the next 2 days, expanding into stronger storms by the weekend as the cold front approaches. Western U.S. A Pacific low-pressure system brings rain and mountain snow across the Sierra Nevada and Rockies, with 4 to 8 inches, 10 to 20 centimeters, of new snow possible. Heavy rain in Arizona and New Mexico may trigger flash floods in canyons and dry streambeds. Temperature contrasts remain sharp. The central and eastern U.S. will stay warmer than average, 82 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit, 28 to 32 degrees Celsius, while the Pacific Northwest struggles to reach 50 degrees Fahrenheit, 10 degrees Celsius. In the next 72 hours, models predict Florida, 4 to 6 inches, 100 to 150 millimeters, of rain. High Plains and Four Corners, 1 to 3 inches, 30 to 70 millimeters. Locally higher. Sierra Nevada, 4 to 8 inches, 10 to 20 centimeters, of new snow. Local weather agencies have issued alerts for scattered tornado risk in the central U.S., flash flood watches in Arizona and Colorado, and coastal wind advisories along Massachusetts and Rhode Island. Residents are urged to monitor updates closely and avoid travel during severe weather. Summary and reflection. In summary, the U.S. faces an active and diverse weather pattern in the coming days. Tropical storm Lorenzo serves as a gentle reminder that hurricane season isn't over yet. The low-latitude tropical wave may soon evolve into Tropical Storm Melissa, drawing focus back to the Caribbean. On land, the ridge-trough interaction sets the stage for dynamic, severe weather in the nation's heartland, while the west braces for early snow. Together, these events paint a vivid picture of an atmosphere alive and shifting, a powerful example of seasonal transition in motion. Devotional closing. Before we end tonight's report, I'd like to leave you with a brief message from 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 verses 1 to 11. Now concerning the times and the seasons, brothers and sisters, you have no need to have anything written to you, for you yourselves are fully aware that the day of the Lord will come like a thief in the night. But you are all children of the light and children of the day. So then let us not sleep, as others do, but let us keep awake and be sober. This passage isn't only about faith, it also mirrors the work we do as weather watchers. The skies are always changing. We never know exactly when the storm will come. But if we stay alert, prepared, and grounded in hope, then no matter how strong the winds may blow, our hearts will remain steady. Stay calm, stay informed, and stay positive, for light and hope are always near. Thank you for watching. If you found this update helpful, please subscribe, turn on notifications, and leave your thoughts or prayers in the comments below. We'll continue tracking Lorenzo, the potential Caribbean wave, and the U.S. severe weather setup closely. Until next time, may you have a safe, peaceful, and blessed day.